Michael Silvers. We have been waiting so long to do this. I so happy it's finally here today. How are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you? I'm just excited to be on here.
Oh my gosh. Well, just to give everybody just a little bit of a reference, because I want you to tell your story. And I don't know a lot of it. I've only heard little pieces, but you have worked with some of the greatest personal development people and trainers and speakers on the planet. We're going to hear all about that. But now your big venture, which I am so honored and privileged to be a part of, is the Mentor Studio. And you co-founded it with Mary Glorfield, who put Tony Robbins on his stages for 18 years. And it's so exciting to be a part of this group. So thank you for everything that you're doing and offering this mentorship to so many people. It's just such an incredible project that you're bringing to the world.
Sandee, it's such a blessing to be on this show too, because you're such an integral part of what's going on in the world today. Between bringing true happiness, and letting us see that there's ways to do it that we just never thought about. Because sometimes we complicate everything, right? And,
Yes,
and
we
through that
do.
complication, right? We complicate everything. And through that complication, we create stress, anxiety, and all these physical and mental things that go on. So it is great to be here. Here, I'll do the 3 hour stage version. Is that okay?
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm good. So just really quickly, everybody, and the journey is about everybody. Please write this down. And I know you're in your cars, you're driving, you're listening. Who knows where you are? Um, but the journey is critical because it's who you are.
Yeah.
So born and raised in LA, which I love growing up in Los Angeles. It was awesome. We had the beach, right? It didn't get any better. And we had no humidity. Yeah, East Coasters, you're going, whatever right now. And
Yeah,
people in Singapore
exactly.
are going, hey, it's our life. But grew up in LA, always wanted to be a police officer because I wanted to make a difference and help others. It's like a
Mm.
tenant, right, Sandy? And
Yeah.
so became an LAPD officer, was injured very early on in the job. And that was the end. That was the end of my career. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I did what everybody does in LA. Instead of becoming a waiter, because, everybody would have got the wrong order. I had connections. It's always about who do you know? And I got a job right away at Raleigh Studios. So I worked in Hollywood for about a year. I worked for the team, the Forster Productions, that was Elvis's PR team. And the owner, Miss Forster, that's what we called her. She was Rhett's best friend. And she said to me very simply, if you don't love this business more than life, get out. And I thought about that for a while. And I thought, you're a great mentor because you're willing to, and they really liked me. I mean, they liked everything I was doing. And I did. I just said it's time to go. So I did what everybody else does. I went back to university, got my master's in clinical psych, worked with children and adults for 8 years, married, moved up to Seattle. And that was really a change of life for me because I did what every male does. I became a male nurse. Became a male nurse. Nursing jokes, I always say we're done with that. Was becoming also a nurse practitioner. My wife also was a nurse at the time. We had our kids up in Seattle. We brought them up with us, of course. I once said we had our kids in Seattle, and they're like, "Did you have them born?" No, no, no. We brought them up here. And we got introduced to network marketing. I was like, no, I don't want to do anything with that. But I had a project experience. So I had a personal experience. Those are always critical. And my wife saw it even before I did because I wanted to build something like with the internet. That's not a bad thing, by the way. Um, but within a very short period of time, all of a sudden, I'm not nursing anymore. We're on the president's council. And what happened was Mr. Bob Proctor, who's big in personal development, was part of the company. So I'm spending all this time. And some of you, if you don't know Bob Proctor, just look him up. You'll see there's a million books on it. He's one of the big leaders in the personal development world. He has passed now, but he was great. Um, and we just, what does it take to be successful? And he said, it's very simple. Buy every course and read every book. And so my wife and I literally have bought everything since. We keep buying courses. We're always about ourselves, personal development. But that led us both to a gentleman named Chris Howard. All of a sudden, we're in Australia. Like every other week, we're going to events. That's an exaggeration, but we were there a lot of 14-hour plane rides. Excuse me. And we were doing events that were anywhere from 1 to 3,000 people. and we had clients pouring in, and we were doing neuralistic programming and traveling the world. And he'd call us up and say, "Can you fly to London today?" And we were shooting off to London, and my wife went to Hong Kong, and just building this worldwide organization. And she ran his Billionaire Venture Club, and I ran the coaching division, and it was really doing it together. And at the same time, I decided it was enough travel, and I started to slow it down. And I get a call from T. Harv Eker at Peak Potential saying, are you free?" And I said, "Yes, actually." He says, "Well, you know what you did down there? Would you come work for us? Come build for us." So I went to Peak Potentials. That's 8 years of that. It was amazing. Director of coaching, rebuilt their program, did programs around the world, travel with Harv, lived in green rooms, was VP of sales the year we did. I won't tell you how much, but more than we ever had. Um, and it's a great life. But in that time, and my wife and I always were doing this together. That's the beauty about this, right? Is she was on board, I'm on board, we're working together so we could support each other. So make sure you also have a team around you. We interviewed Keith Cunningham yesterday, and we also were doing
Oh,
another one for
cool.
the LA Tribune, and he just talked about teams. It was so amazing. But um, in this story, I met Mary Glorfield. And Mary
Mm.
Glorfield was Tony Robbins' vice president for 18 years, 82 countries. She put Tony and traveled with him, 4 million miles, 3 million participants, built the Platinum Partnership. And I've learned so much. I met Bill Walsh. We do so much with Power Team. Um, and Mary said during COVID, we really talked about what's that next step. And that's where we created the Mentor Studio. It was
Mm.
to serve the underserved. It was to bring mentoring out to the world. And that's what we've done. And of course, it's blown up since. We were going to start with 25 mentors. We now have a lot of mentors. Um, but it's really, and you're one of them. You're a great mentor. It's how do I take my message and become more? I think that's always an important piece. And anybody listening to this, is you're driving along, and maybe you're on the road of Los Angeles, you're on the 405, and you're just sitting in traffic, you're not going anywhere. Think of, how did I serve somebody today? Or how can I serve somebody today? And that just will make your day every day you do this.
Oh, no kidding. Nothing feels better than when you help somebody else. And what I love to do, especially because I live in the DC metro area, Michael, and people, I always say they have sticks up their butt. It's very political, very transient, people coming and going all over the place. Everybody's uptight here. And I love to just almost play a game when I'm in the grocery store, and I'll catch people's attentions. I'll catch their eye, and I just give them a big smile.
Mhm.
And sometimes people don't know how to handle that. But then there's some that just look at and you can just see they're like saying thank you. They don't say it, but you can feel it, that they're like, thank you. How nice that somebody took a moment to smile and say hello.
Yeah. And I think it does. It's how we change. We once actually, it's a story. I'm a grandpa, by the way, everybody, so I tell stories. But you know, I think part of that too is part of the reason that things happened for my wife and I in our careers, and what happened in the business, is because we always said, how can we serve? We would walk into events, and if a chair needed to be moved, I moved a chair. If a door needed to be opened, we opened a door. And we always were about, how can we serve? And we were known for that. And I think a lot, it's like the pay it forward in a way. We didn't do it because we were expecting,
Right.
and people will know that. You'll know that. I think that that's a huge piece of anything you're building. The Mentor Studio, right? As it blew open, it wasn't about, let's do all this stuff. It's come about because the mentors within the group said, what if? Because, okay, so if you were serving this population, what if we did this? How do we serve this? And that makes a big difference as you create a team, because now you have raving fans that are excited to be part of the team, but not only know the vision, but they're willing to work on the how. And that's really important in any business. And
Yeah.
as you make a difference that way, you also create an area people just smile. They want to be part of.
Yeah.
Because we're just having, well, we're having fun. How's that?
We're
We're
having a
having
lot of
fun.
fun.
We're having a lot of fun. So it's a lot more fun. Let me tell you, my commute. What did somebody said to me? How long's your commute? I said, I don't know, about 1.5 minutes. So, it's a lot more fun to do it that way. At the same time, know you're making a difference every day. And
Yeah,
and it's legacy for Mary and I. We want this for our grandchildren and children's children's children.
right. Oh, it's such a beautiful thing. And for all of those listening, there will be information on how you can learn more about the Mentor Studio in the show notes, or you can just go to the mentorstudio.com or mentorstudio.net.
Either one,
Either one
either
works,
one.
I think.
Either one, wherever you go, you'll find us, trust me. And it's the kind of thing where I'll tell you right now, we're really looking for people who just want to be a mentor. Here's the thing that happens all the time, Sandy. People say, well, I can't teach anything. I don't know anything. I mean, you get this all the time. And I always say, um, um, did you get, how old are you? If you're 10, you have something to teach. If you're 20, you have something to teach. If, wherever you are, you've had some experience that somebody else has not had. You have something to bring to the table. Well, my business is not $100 million. So,
So,
right? It's always it's having that part. And people come to us all the time because they're like, yeah, but Mary did all that for Tony, and you did all that with Harv. You had 1 million students with Harv, and you produced all the stadium shows up till well, Mary still did last year and still going to do something. You produced all the shows and all the events, and so you just did so much more. You have so much more. So it just means, well, it means we have more gray hair than you. But it's just, I have a certain something that I bring to the table, but so does everybody else, which is why I think the biggest learning people get, and part of, for me, the Mentor Studio has been a culmination of just saying, why are we not all playing as one family?
yeah,
Everybody within the business world, the training world, the development world, all of this. We have doctors, lawyers, dentists, personal development speakers, podcasters, right? Everybody's joining because we're just one family, one team. And I don't care where you come from. I don't care your background, as long as you're not, I mean, just, just be of service. That's my big piece.
yeah,
Um, and that's how we do this together.
yeah. And what I've learned, and, you know, I remember meeting you for the first time in Las Vegas last December. And I'm surrounded by so many amazing people. And I was like, where has all of this been?
I
Because
know.
when you're trying to do it alone, and there's so much that we don't know. And that's, just in the past 8 months, I've learned so much because there's so much I don't know. There's still so much I don't know. And when you surround yourself with people who have done it before you, what better opportunity to learn in just so many areas of your life? It's not just in business, it's just in life in general, for sure.
Yeah. And it's funny. So I'm just trying to think, with Mary Glorfield, it's been 13 years now, I think. I've been around her, worked with her, and I still learn every day. There's always something new every day because I didn't do 82 countries. They built the largest personal development company on this planet.
Yeah.
They got him on TV. They got him in movies. They did Oprah. I mean, they did everything. Um, and I've done, but not, there's and to me, she's a constant mentor. And the other day she says to me, Michael, I've learned so much from you and working with you. So I was like tears, you know how it goes,
Oh,
but I thought that's what true mentoring is, though. That's she's ahead of me here. I'm ahead of her here.
yeah.
We're meeting here to create greatness.
Oh, I
And
love
you're
that.
part of that. That's like you meet us here. And right. And Donna and the whole team and Kelly and Joseph. And right, we have this whole team that has very experienced backgrounds. And we're just all saying, I'm just here to learn.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it, and people always say, well, what are the first like 2 or 3 steps I should take in anything? Number one, I always say, it's like, just we don't want to quote Nike, but great, just do it. That's always, but just start somewhere. I think that's the biggest thing. Well, what do you mean? Just seriously, just as long as, when you look at something out there, first of all, do buy every course on the planet, invest in yourself all the time.
Yes.
Make sure that it's ecological, no harm to yourself or others. And very clearly, write this down, everybody. And if you're driving, please don't write this down. Don't take your hands off the wheel, right? This is there was a Frasier episode where you had the guy close his eyes. Don't do that. um, but very simply, what I want you all to do is just think in my life, 3 coaches, 2 mentors, and a mastermind. And have a coach who really, this is a clinical term, kicks your behind, a
Yes.
coach who understands where you're going, and a coach who's maybe your spiritual coach or your personal trainer or your whoever that is, and then mentors, people who are ahead of where you want to be in the game, whether it's lifestyle or podcasting or whatever it is, money, and then a mentorship group, which is a group of individuals that get together to create something out of nothing.
Mm.
And that's, that every time, right? Every time we show up for the call, no matter what space you're in, you walk away going, I did something. And
Yeah.
it just raises that it raises our state.
It raises your vibrational frequency.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, I love that. All right. So we're almost out of time, and you've said so many amazing things that are going to help so many people. But what I want to know, what I'm curious, because you've worked with some of the greats, you've been surrounded by some really amazing people and still are, of course. Can you give the listeners, what is some of the best advice that you've ever received that you carry with you and you think about all the time?
Yeah. Some of it's actually some of things, I have a tendency of hearing something yesterday and going, where was that all my life? And what I realized is it was, but just actually yesterday, I'm serious. But I realized how much it ties into everything I've done is as you're building a team, you have A players if they're excited to be measured. That doesn't mean criticize. If you are surrounded by a group of individuals on your team who are like excited to be measured, right? Whether it's sales or how many people I talk to or how many podcasts I do or what guests I have or did I get the content today? That's it. That's exciting to me. That's exactly what you're looking for. The other thing too is make sure that you are hands-on but hands-off. You always want, as you look at your business, and by the way, for those of you who are podcasters out there, podcasting is a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so a business doesn't mean make it boring. A business means and there's numbers and things you're going to know, but we could teach that in a second. But surround yourself with the right podcasters who like Sandee, who have this down as a business, but understand they're making a difference in the world because that's a critical piece. So that's the advice from that end. And the last thing I always say is 3 coaches, 2 mentors, and a mastermind. And if you create that in your life right now, and oh, here, by the way, the person that you don't want to bring on right away is your broke brother-in-law. Okay. You want to make sure you bring people who have motion forward ideas. That doesn't mean that they have to be smiley every day. That's not what it's about. But don't bring on the ones who are going to pull you back because it takes a lot to get going again.
Yes, it does. For sure. Great advice. Great advice, Michael. Thank you so much. I will put Michael's contact information in the show notes. Feel free to reach out to him anytime with any questions. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule. It means the world to me, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandee, and thank you, everybody out there.
Yes, thank you, everyone.